with Epic Time. This is day 7 of the Mighty Hoka Motorcycle Challenge. Here are the updates. You gotta give me a second while I share this. As soon as it shows it goes live. And it's so funny because as soon as I go to share this, a picture came up. I'll have to find that and put it up later. Yeah, I think it says we're live. I can share this. Give me 1 second and I'll be good. In the meantime, let people get on and get settled in. All right, get some Harley riders. If anybody doesn't like this being shared to their thing, they can just not play it out. That simple. So we're at day 7. Day 7 is going to be a very emotional day for the riders. If you, I've been kind of looking at it today. It's crazy. I don't know if anybody caught the live show at noon, but we did that from the Sturgis National Cemetery and the home where the final resting place of some great heroes, including the founder of the Hoka, James Red Cloud. So that was kind of a, it was actually an emotional time. I'm trying to get this microphone right. We got a lot of people here, but that's where it is. It's in, like I say, it's in R, section R right there. I forget the number now off the top of my head. I took a picture of it so I'd remember it, but you think I'd load that picture up? No. But it is really a beautiful place. Even if you're not a fan of the Hoka, whatever, stop at the National Cemetery while you're out here and take a look at it because it's really cool. I mean, that's the view right there. That mountain in the background is really cool. And the highway's right there. It's literally a minute off the highway. It's a minute out of your way to pay respects to some awesome people. It's really hot out here again today. I'm sweating my ass off. Trying not to, get dehydrated, so that's kind of fun. But we got Dickerson. There's a local that made it home, so that was good. But you're happy to be home, not sweating or riding, all the crazy stuff. So that's kind of good to be back with a family after you have a traumatic ending to any event. So welcome home. I'm happy that you made it. Let's get a look at this tracker quick. It's up here. It's ready to go. I got some riders I want to check on, but before we do that, I'll just show you what it looks like here. This is what I'm looking at. Somebody brought their killer dog here. Maybe he's not a killer. Man, yeah, there's the killer. If you can bring him over here and let him bite anyone, I will pay that dog's vet bills forever, man. Turn him loose on anybody on camera. We'd love that. No, dog's too nice. There's a dog down the hill too. The thing is like, I don't know, some kind of pit bull looking thing. And he is such a good looking dog. It's crazy. Yeah, no, all kinds of people speaking Spanish, and I don't know any of it. I'm sure what they were saying was, look at that good looking dude doing the show. That's the Spanish I know. That might not have been what they said. I think they were like, is that guy on TV? But it was a great day. We went and went for a little ride, went to the National Cemetery, then we went into town, checked out the Wild Ass Crew working downtown Sturgis. I ran into a friend of mine from high school. That was pretty cool. Jeff Starr, who recently retired, and makes me feel old when I see anybody I went to high school with and they're retired. So that's a little bit crazy. So, but I feel old and I look around, there's a lot of people here way older than me, so I don't feel that bad. Not calling anybody out. Oh, glad some people don't hear everything I say, but it's all good. We're having a good time, and we came back to the rally here at Black Hills Harley Davidson and got our booth kind of reset up to do the show. And I tell you what, I've been looking at this year's tracker, and doing that through a computer, a regular desktop, and I would stop doing it on a laptop. That was a pain. And then we went out for lunch, and I was using my phone to check the tracker, and that had really been the only way I'd ever really looked at it. And that was hard, but after using a desktop to pay attention, man, it's a lot harder doing it on his phone. We were like, man, it's hard to zoom in on people. It's really nice when you have it like this. And this is crazy. like I said at lunchtime, like they're worried about you, giving anybody an advantage, telling where they're going. Yeah, well, good luck figuring out where anybody's going. You look at this thing, it's just a mad, crazy zoo. You have an idea, who's in what group and where they're going, but until they get up here again and then get settled into the dealership and then split off. So let's check our leaders here. Let's go up to, this was Group 2 who started in the south to begin with. There's Yost, still killing it. Pee-wee's right behind them. There's English, who had a little trouble with his tire. Nicholson, and of course Chrisman, as always. I've been saying that since the beginning. If you want to know which way the route's going, you just follow Chrisman and you're going to know where he's at. He is in the top 5 right now. And what's going to be great about this is the top 5 from Group 2 that went south, down there going north. But who knows? This has been such a crazy route and it's complicated directions. Chrisman might be in first place. The top 3 or 4, they might have missed part of the route, did something wrong. I have no idea. You have to have the overlay and be watching it, and that's impossible because nobody does, except the organizers. So we assume everybody has done what they're supposed to do. There's people watching this that know somebody made a mistake and caught it, knew that somebody made a mistake. But I heard somebody talking on Facebook and they said, so-and-so missed part because so-and-so did it and they didn't. Or the first one might have did it wrong. You never know who's right, who's wrong. You just see that the 2 people didn't go the same way. The only time I was 100% sure that I knew somebody was making a mistake is when we had looked at it and we had a group of 10 riders on one side of the river and 10 riders on the other side of the river. And that was pretty plain and simple that they're not going to have mixed up directions. So somebody missed it and was on the wrong side of the river, and I won't call any names out who was on the wrong side. So Jug, don't worry about it. Your secret's safe with me. And George, I would never throw you under the bus telling you that you were on the wrong side of the river and you had to go back 45 miles, cross the bridge, and then go south on the other side of the river. So you can trust Ride will never ever let everybody know. So no problem there. And here's Buttercups asking me what's up, Buttercups, because we lost them today. They were following along, but they had some bike issues. Their throttle got stuck and it wouldn't twist as far as mine would. So I think they were at the Harley dealership getting the throttle going. Is that true, Daryl? Were you getting your throttle fixed so it twists the rest of the way? But anyhow, let's get back. Let's go check the southern group, which was the northern group. Now they're headed to the south. And this is kind of cool because look at how close people are to riders heading the other way. Might be in another group. There's riders everywhere. 1373 and 1072 were not going to the same place at the same time. But it's kind of fun to watch how close they are right now. It is crazy to see how much of this country, and for somebody like myself who has been privileged to ride around a lot of this, and all of you out there who are from this part of the country, like Roadrunner is from Tennessee, so he rides a lot of this area. He knows what it's like. This is a rough country to ride. Hard technical roads. And now these riders are getting pounded with rain. And when they're not in the rain, they're getting killed with the heat. So they're really testing gear. And you're really finding out, is the climb worth the money or did the climb kill you? So one way or the other, I'm a huge fan of climb, but man, I am not a fan of heat. I don't wear anything when it's hot like that. And around here, it's crazy. We're at the rally here, and every now and then you'll see somebody riding around with gear on. But otherwise, nobody has gear. And I see riders out there, and they got it on, so I was like, you're nuts. But some people are hard believers in all the gear all the time. That's not me. So there's that. Here's something from Brandy. She made it home safe and sound. She has the ribs that are banged up, and I don't know, are your ribs actually broken or are you just banged up, bruised, and not functioning right? She took a fall, and whenever you fall on your side, your elbow is known to crack those ribs up. So that's just awesome. Yeah, adventure riders wear full gear, but everybody gives me a hard time. I hit the south. When I say I hit the south, man, if I go any further south than Iowa, I'm not wearing anything. That's plenty good for me. So, but I see a lot of people having it, and you gotta have it on like, you know, good rain gear. So in Ohio Valley, you better have some good rain gear, and you gotta have, you know, a setup to survive being wet. If you get wet for too long, man, you are done. You just cannot go on. And actually, your feet get wet, they will hurt. You know, like your feet will get so sore if they're over wet. So you got to get going. Here's somebody coming by. How you doing, my man? He's doing a video while we're doing a video. What are you doing? Awesome. So we'll wave and say hi. So I'm on two cameras. He's waving. He's on our camera. That's pretty great. I don't know. I got to share that screen so you see him out there. Let's see, there he's out in the corner. But you look at this, and it's pretty awesome. And some of these people who've had some wrecks, I'm really happy they had gear on. So, you know, that's when you're really fortunate. But there's Nancy. She's out in the lead. I know she came to the checkpoint and made it in. And they had a little video on that. So that was fun to watch. And if anybody caught that, maybe you'll know why I thought it was fun to watch. We got Ren and Dan, who have really teamed up for a long time. Dirty Dan and Ren. Ren lives up in the Northeast, and Dan lives down in Texas. So maybe that's what makes these two guys a pretty good team, because they're helping each other through the suck. When they're up in the Northeast and their roads are technical and they're coming in here, you know, Ren will be able to get a feel for the towns and what they're going into and how long they have to go before they come out of a forest or whatever they're going through. And in the South, when they're coming up through crazy heat in Texas, Dan will be like, we're almost out of it. We get to hear it always cools off. It's always much better. So I don't know, they've been together the whole time. And when I was talking to riders before this started, I told them that riders of equal skill, you're not going to lose them. You're not going to, you know, ditch them. You're not going to get away from them. The only thing you can do is choose to stop or keep going hard when they stop. But if everybody's going until they need gas, you're just not getting away from them. But Ren and Dirty Dan shouldn't need gas at the same time, because Ren has a 6-gallon tank and Dan has a 5. So they are choosing to ride together and choosing to stick it out. And, you know, they're working this as a team. And this is a technical course that they're doing. So maybe riding as a team is strategy, and maybe that strategy is really paying off. Maybe, you know, back in, you know, Wisconsin, they decided we're going to stick together and ride this out, man. Like you do the directions, and then I'll do them, and we'll tag team it. It's way less likely to make a mistake when you have multiple people riding together. And if you have 3 people riding together, you should never make any mistakes. You know, you should never miss a road, because 3 people watching directions, it just shouldn't happen. So if you have 3 people and you're missing a road, 1 person's doing their job and 2 aren't. But it does happen, that's for sure. But I want to check on some riders quick. I want to check a 981. Here we go. This is Henry. Where's Henry at? Let's find Henry. There's Bradley. Where's Henry? There. Oh, I was racing in. What's going on here? There we go. There's Henry, 981. And Bradley right there. So a couple of monster riders. And let's see where that is in the world. Missouri-Iowa border. I didn't check to see if the weather was bad there today, but they're heading towards Paducah. You know, there's a lot of beautiful country there for sure. So Henry, keep on a trucking, my man. You're doing good. You're looking good. Let's check 1263. 1263. West Virginia. Like, these are no joke roads. All through West Virginia has just got a lot of twisty little towns. And look at all of the riders right there. And that is a long way. There's Big Balls Matt. We got Miller Time, Speed Racers, Scuba. They're all right there. Big group of people heading. Which way are they heading? That's so crazy. You look at this. Are you above, beyond, or heading south? They got to work their way around. It's crazy to try to watch this when these 2 groups overlap. And I'm still just amazed. And I'm really amazed at how this field has opened up. Like, you look where Yos is, It's amazing that he's way up there, and riders from that same group are way down here working their way around. They got to go all the way back up to Illinois. So that's just crazy. Love your glasses. Couple hearts on there. I don't know if you guys saw that at home, but she's got some cool glasses. You really see some cool outfits here. Some people really know how to dress. No, I'm not talking to you. He's got a sense of humor though. But it's fun. You see a lot of nice bikes here. I had my new bike parked here, but then I guess the owner took it before I could take it. I said if you leave it here all day, I was going to take it home. And it's a good thing I didn't take his bike because we ran into him in downtown Sturgis, so it would have been a little awkward if I had his there. Anyone from group? Let's see. What does that say? Anyone from Group 1 make it to the checkpoint? Yes, there are several from Group 1. Dirty Dan, Ren, Nancy, Webb. So they're filming them over at the Hokahay. Now Brian has made it. Roadrunner has made it. I know Teeter was there, and Teeter had to stop and get a set of tires. There he is right there. So I know he had to get a set of tires somewhere, so I'm not really sure where he did that at. I wasn't really paying attention. I just know he had to get a set of tires. So here's Beastman. He is there right now, checking in. So that was pretty good. But this is a tough technical ride. And we were talking about it. I don't remember one being this tough since I've been really following Hokahay. I've been watching kind of where they're going, the technical roads, the speeds you could possibly ride through the Northeast. You know, they have a speed limit, you know, and they don't want people speeding. There's not a lot of speeding you can do when you're cranking through mountains like that. It's super hard, so it's hard to do what they're trying to do. And when you're in a hurry, you know, there's only so much you can do going through twisties after twisties after twisties. There's Rolo, she's coming up. Let's check a couple other ones. Who is 1028? Oops, not 1Q, 1028. No results. Whoever 1028 was tapped out. That was somebody I wanted to check on too, so I'm glad. Here is our boy Rob. Let's see how he's doing. His first time doing a Hokahay. He's with Taco, so we're doing a 2-for-1 on these monsters. And they are rolling along. Get a couple people in there. They're doing really good. They're doing very, very good. Keep it rolling. When it's your first time doing this, and you have nothing to compare it to, it's really hard to prepare for something like this. You know, a lot of these riders, here 1352 is out in Kentucky, Pineville, Kentucky. And I can tell you what, one of my favorite rides to do is from South Carolina to Pineville, Kentucky. This is beautiful mountains. This is where the Hatfield McCoy, they have a celebration of that every year right there in Pineville. And I always want to get down there, but I find there's always something I got to do other than go celebrate a bunch of hillbillies. But I always kind of want to go down there and do it. But that's kind of fun. There's people, this is the end of the day. It's been extremely hot here on Saturday. There was so many state troopers out. They had people pulled over nonstop between Sturgis and Rapid City. So if anybody's out to rally and traveling those places, tone it down a hot minute. All right, it's fun to see some of these riders and see where they're at. I asked a lot of riders what their hopes were, where they hope to finish this challenge, what their goals were. And there were a lot of people who told me they wanted to be in the top 20. A lot of people told me they wanted to make it to the end of the road party, you know, and they're finding out right now what it takes just to make the end of the road party. And before this started, people had high hopes. I want to place in the top 10, top 5. I'm in it to win it, top 20. I'm in it to make it to the party, whatever it is. And a lot of riders had never competed in the Hokahay Challenge. So when it started, they got a reality check very fast. And right about now, 7 days into this, they are learning very well that placement will not matter. when they are done with this, they are going to be happy just to finish at any place, at any level. None of that will matter. They are going to feel like a champion as long as they can cross the finish line. And I think that's what gets lost sometimes. And people talk to you and tell you, "Oh, it wasn't that bad. You can do this." You're comparing. They're comparing their journey to yours, and they may not be the same. So there's a lot going on. So, and we're here at the rally where people get to check out the Hokahe and look at our big TV, come over and see it. A lot of people are familiar with it. A lot of had friends do it, way back when. Some we were educating on exactly what it is and how they're doing it. And others, they know about it. Everybody thinks they know the rules. That's what always cracks me up a little bit. Everybody thinks they have it dialed in, and oh, you can do this, you can't do that. And that's a lot of, hearsay sometimes, but it's fun to listen to everybody all the same. And I kind of touched on that before, but we did get out downtown today and do some visiting, and I was, running around in downtown Sturgis, and I ran into old man's wife. That was kind of fun. She always looks so energetic and smiley and happy to see us, and so that was fun. So it was really nice to get a familiar hug and have a good time. So I did miss Pat. We didn't get to see him, but if I had to pick between running into old man and seeing his bike Pappy, or running into his wife and seeing his newer Indian, or his other Indian, I guess is older but newer, if that makes sense, then I would be very happy to, I'll take that trade. I'll much rather see the white and the other bike. I can look at Pappy and Pat anytime, so this is way better. So that was pretty great. Let's see. Somebody made comments about riders gone. Yeah, there's a bunch of riders gone. That's not uncommon at all. There is so much that can go wrong with your day, your week, your event, that it is nothing to lose, a quarter of the field at this stage. It is nothing to lose 10%, 20, whatever it ends up being. And it's going to be hard. This is day 7, and they've had a rough go on technical roads. And that is just hard. A lot can go wrong in that time. And what kind of end of the road party will be if most aren't even close to being done yet? That's a great question, and in my opinion, I like that. It's the world's toughest challenge. It's not meant to be a participation where you just rip around the country and go in. That's a summer cruise, and the old days of doing this, there were a lot of people that didn't make it in by the end of the road party. I was there at the end of the road party in 18, and I believe there was 24 people that had come in by that point, and I believe this is a tougher route than that was. So if there was 24 and 18, I would guess there might be less than 20, to come in, and a lot will be coming in then. It's a celebration of who's there. I don't think, if you have a route that 95% of the people are making it in by, day 14, then I don't believe it's really going to be the world's toughest challenge. So I think that's pretty great. And I know you can't use a GPS, but can they have their maps up on a screen or a phone? No. It's no, because you're not supposed to use electronics to help you navigate. But as it's been proven, they do. So it's there. There is video of people at the finish line with their navigation on, being used for the whole world to see. So, that's a little bit odd to me that somebody has that and it's shown, but it happens, and people use it. People use a GPS. It's natural for you to use your phones, your bike's GPS. The average people have it, right on their screen. I had it for a year. I didn't know you had to redo it every year, but I don't have it anymore again. But they have GPSs you can mount on your handlebars. I have a Garmin Zumo mounted on my handlebars right now. I'm looking right at it. You can see on the screen, you can see it on my handlebars. And, they are a great aid to riding when you can see the roads. Anybody that says it doesn't make a difference, it's no different than looking at a map, does not understand the principles of a map compared to looking at a screen right in front of you. Because on a map, you have to figure out where you are. You can't, just guess and figure it out. If you're looking at any kind of GPS, any kind of screen, your phone, whatever, if you're looking at this tracker as a rider, and say you're wrong way, and you look at that tracker, and you pull up your tracker on your phone, if you tell me that's the same as looking at a map, a paper map, and this is the same to you, then we're just built different. I will never ever agree with somebody this is equal to looking at a paper map. A paper map doesn't tell you right where you're at. A paper map doesn't tell you you are on this road and this road is coming up. So this road is what you got to turn on. If they got to turn on 124, that's not the same as looking at a paper map, trying to figure out where you are, how you got there, and where the next road is. So, how do you know if a rider used a GPS? You don't know. This is supposed to be done on integrity, and you're relying on individuals' integrity and ability to do it, and that's on them. And the GPS will show. Oops, wrong one. Sorry. This is Billy, a champion at 18. In my opinion, the greatest champion that to ride the Hoka. He dominated in 2018. A course like this, very technical, very hard. Directions were wrong, leading us in things you had to figure out. Billy navigated like a champion, and really made me sit back and go like, damn, I rode a motorcycle like I stole it. There is not a chance in hell I could have rode that ride any better. I had the weather in my favor. I had the motorcycle in my favor, meaning nothing happened to it. Everything went perfect. The storms were behind me. I didn't, not that I didn't ride in the rain, but a lot of the storms missed me where they crushed other people. And I rode the best I could, and Billy was walking away from me. I think he was showered, took a nap, and, a high five, and then came to greet people at the line. So, and it made me really, my eyes opened up to what people are capable of doing. When you think you're something, and then you come upon somebody who is really something, you step back and be like, all right, I gave it my all. And I think that's where I started to think, like, it's not about what place you're in, it's about how hard you try. And as long as you give it 100%, I've never won Hoka Hey, but I've never done one where I didn't give it 100%. I never got home and went, shit, if I would have tried a little harder, I think I could have beat Billy. If I would have tried a little harder, I think I could have beat, so-and-so. It just wasn't the case, There's just people that are better than you. But as long as, no matter who you are, what place you're in, if you give it your all and you ride it like it's meant to be ridden, you're going to get awesome things out of it, and you're going to feel great about doing it, and you're going to not give a shit about what place you came in. Nobody's going to care. Nobody remembers anyhow. Obviously, they remember Billy and, and Dirty Dan winning it last year. You remember champions. But if you're worried about coming in 5th and you come in 35th, you might be disappointed, but nobody else is going to be. Everybody else is going to be like, damn, it's a hell of a job. You look at the number of people who won't finish this ride at all, just that won't finish it. The old days, you go back on their website and look, it was a third of the people didn't finish, almost every one, until the last couple years. But before that, a third of the people didn't even finish. So if we have that again, people will be surprised, but it's not anything new. It's just something they haven't seen. But that doesn't make it new. It's just something that's going back to what it was, or whatever the case is. So it's always fun to watch. People get a lot of things that they think they're gonna do, and then they get to learning about what they really can do and how hard some things really are. Like if you think Miller Time and Speed Racer and Maker here are doing something wrong, then go out and join them. See how long you last. You try to follow this route, people that criticize wouldn't last 3 days. They probably wouldn't last 2 days. They'll talk tough, but when the time comes, they're not doing it. And I was giving people a lot of advice on day one, and I got that advice from Billy, and he told me, nobody's gonna win it on day one. It's impossible to win this ride on day one, but you can lose it on day one. And that you see a lot. And a lot of people that are out, a lot of people who will not finish, that are still trying, when they look back, they may have lost this on day one. Maybe they pushed too hard. Maybe they went too far. Maybe day one, they got 2 hours of sleep, but they needed 5. Then they rode too hard on day 2, and it really comes down to day 1. What did you do wrong? You didn't want to get left behind. You didn't want to not be in the lead. Whatever it was, you can lose it on day 1. And I think you're going to see that this year. You're going to see people who lost it on day 1. That doesn't mean they're out on day 1, but their choices out of the gate, cost them in the long run. I got to click on some of these because I can't see it, so it's all good. And if it's not right, it's not right, but you can read it with me. And I see all these giving it their all and think this is something I need to grow as a man. Exactly. That's the reason I got into it, Cole. I wanted to do this to see how I stacked up against the best riders in the world. I wanted to see how I stacked up. When I got into it, I thought this was a race against Billy. This was a race against all the riders that I was up against, in 2018. I really thought, in my mind, I want to see how good I do against these people, what kind of race. And at the end of it, I learned coming into that finish line on day whatever it was I finished. I don't even remember. When I talk about what day you come in, that's what I'm talking about. You're not even going to remember. But when I came in, I realized that the only competition I had in this entire ride, and this is the exact same for each one of these people on this screen, is the only thing I had in common with that, the only competition I had was with myself. Everybody here is in competition with one person and one person only, themselves. You can get beat by yourself or you can keep going on and be a champion, but it's going to be you that determines that, not anybody else. And it's yourself and your mind that you battle with, and your mind will tell you things to make it easy to quit, easy to go home, easy to cheat, easy to look at your GPS. When your mind is shot, your mind will tell you all kinds of things and convince you to do maybe not what's best for you or best for your way of looking at it, but your mind will do it, and you have to override it. You got to stay mentally focused, and you got to feed the mind. You got to be able to sleep, you got to rest, and a lot of that hinges on choices you make along the way. So day 7 is going to be very emotional for these riders. They have to get here. They know it. I know it. Anybody who follows this, it's not rocket science. The party's after 14 days. So if you're going to make the party, you would think you're going to want to be at the halfway point by the end of today to have a shot at making the party. I feel like some of the group that was in the northern tier, that was a pretty technical ride. I think they could make up some time and do a little better on the back half, going through those open roads of Oklahoma and Texas. But the problem is they're going to be tired. You've really been battling for days upon days, and now you got to swing into that. And even on those open roads, you got to stay focused not to miss your road. You do 80 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour out of Oklahoma, and you're supposed to be staying on Road B, and you don't notice Road B takes a left and you go straight. You're doing a lot of extra miles. Anybody behind has to have a clean ride. They got to stay focused. And the only way to do that is get rested, eat, fuel the body, the mind, and the bike, and you'll be all right. All right, I want to see. Yeah, Chrisman I've talked about him every day because he is an insane rider. I mean, Chrisman is right here, and I tell you, I can't say enough good things about him. He has ridden every Hoka I believe. I might be wrong, but I think it's every one. And he is a beast. And he rides hard, and he never takes it like a summer tour. Every Hoka he's in, he's giving it his all. He knows that there might be riders, that there are riders better than him. But I honestly think there's very few riders involved with the Hoka Motorcycle Challenge that give it more than he does. Every year, he doesn't let bullshit make him not do it. He doesn't let anything. He's in it every year, and he's in it to give it his all. Is he in it to win it? Of course, everybody wants to win. Who doesn't want to win? If you're a guy, you want to win. If you're a girl and doing this, you want to win. But Chrisman's willing to give it his all the time. And that's something to be said when you can just keep on going year after year after year, giving it 100%, never having, any regrets. I don't think he's ever could look back and say, I wish I would have tried harder. He tries super hard every time. So here's where we're at. We got a lot going on. There's Dan and Nancy. They're pretty tight down there. That's not a huge difference at all. They're coming through some beautiful country through Arkansas and into Oklahoma, and this whole area here of Oklahoma right here is just beautiful. I mean, just incredible. When you come down through here, it's like a lot of technical roads. It's super cool. Let's see. I'm only 11, but I think the south is a little easier than the north route. So I think the first group can make up time. I love that. This is Gavin, one of our heroes, one of the boys that these riders are riding for. And most kids would have no idea what the hell they're talking about. But the GOAT is actually a biker. He's actually a badass biker who's done some really cool rides. So he knows the difference of riding up north. He's been up in New York. He knows what the roads were. Gavin came right up. You watch this. Came right up from Texas, rode all the way through here. He's been right where all these riders are right now. Gavin came right through here. He knows what those roads are like, how slow they are compared to where he lives. So when he says that, he knows what he's talking about. And I think that's really funny that we got an 11-year-old telling us how it is and being accurate. He's been to my house. He knows what the roads are like. I live right wherever I live. Look at that, I don't even know where I live. I live right here, roughly. And they're coming through north of me, but I'm very familiar with it. This is where I ride. This is where I train for different events. That's the roads I take. So Gavin's very educated on riding, and I love it. That we get the opinion of a 11-year-old, and he's telling us things that are accurate. These roads over here are much faster than where I live. Gavin lives down here, very close. The route was not too far from his house. I mentioned that before, so he knows what this is like. Gavin is one of very few people that I know that have ridden the entire state of Texas. Every major road in this entire state he's been on. And I know he's been on every road because he went to every Harley Davidson dealership in the state. So other than this little section right here, he's covered the entire state, border to border, El Paso to Beaumont. He's been up here, and I remember when I was joking around about what's that square part is above Texas, and everybody laughed at me. So if you're not from Texas and you don't know what that is, and somebody asks you where it is, and you're like, and you tell them I'm in the square part above at the top of the state, expect to get a little shit about that. So just a little heads up if you're not familiar with it, what that's called. Hello, got some more people coming, looking at my bike. You're gonna buy it for sure. They're really interested in it. Just broke in. You want to buy her the bike? What really cracks me up when I mention buying the bike, not one person ever says how much. they just take one look at it and be like, yeah, no thanks, man. I don't need that in my life. That's for sure. But it's definitely a bike that's been around the block. That's for sure. But I got some funny stuff to show you guys before we get out of here, and this is pretty good. This is a little video of you want to give us a name? Where are you guys from?
Marietta,
Ohio. How long you been here?
just moved in
Today, what was the weather like when you went home? Oh, you've been gone 8 days, so they've been on the road for a minute, enjoying life. That's pretty awesome. To ride all the way out here, all you guys together? That's awesome.
The Hoka went past my house.
Oh, it did? That's what I was wondering, if you knew if it went by. So here we got some people from Ohio that the Hoka went right by their house.
I'm hoping for 2028.
What's that?
I'm hoping for 2028.
Awesome. Good luck. That's what we were just talking about. You see up there, I can zoom in a little bit and get on Ohio, and you know, it's kind of fun and see where it went by. And let's see, if you see a number that's even close to you, tell me the number. I'll zoom in on that number.
Like 1218, 1258.
1218. All right, so this area right here, that's pretty.
1258.
1258. Where's? Oh, over there. Okay. Laura, right there. I wanted to see where she was doing it. Yeah.
That's 550.
That's pretty funny. So we got a bunch of people here who are familiar with this area. How are the roads there? Are they twisty? Are they curvy? Or yeah, you're not doing 90 miles an hour on them, I bet.
And if you got a big enough set,
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Big Balls Matt can do 90 on these roads, because the guy that lives there said if you got big balls, you can do 90 on some of the roads. So Big Balls Matt might have a shot, but everybody else could be doing 60. Yeah, so I bet, so these guys, all bikers, they all rode out here from this very area, so it's kind of fun to get their perspective. But, you know, these riders were hitting the rain earlier through there, and they were talking about the roads being so slow, and you know, you're trying to navigate crazy corners. Is it real hilly there too? Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Like, hell yeah. Yeah, see, I grew up in Minnesota. My idea of a hill is if you can't see over by doing this, you know? You know, the Flatlander's got a different way of looking at things. I mean, it's really hilly, man. It's like 4-foot incline, you know? The triple nickel, are they on the triple nickel here? Is it close? No?
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, that's awesome. I got to check that out. But I was looking at all these cool roads. This is a,
Triple nickel is one of the.
yeah, and when I see these cool roads and all this mountainous things, I mean, part of me wants to ride motorcycle and part of me wants to go bow hunting. So it's a type. Maybe I go on a fall trip and and ride motorcycle until about 2 hours before dark, jump in a stand, and then go have at it. So that's a lot of fun. I'm glad you guys stopped by and gave us a little perspective on where you live and what it's like. These riders should be going a little slow through there, working hard at these roads. They look technical. Where you got to pay attention and like it's relentless for
And a lot of deer.
Yeah, and that's another thing is that a lot of deer. So we've had some deer strikes. We've had a lot of people getting banged up with this or that. So this is an area that every one of these 276 riders has to go through. Nobody gets a free pass. Nobody gets out of it. Nobody can do anything, but do it. So, with the 60 riders that are riding for Mile Monsters, to help our kids, it's crazy. They're riding on these roads and they're using kids to motivate them, to be doing so good. So that's really awesome. So make sure you guys get some bracelets and some stickers. We got all kinds of stuff here. Hydro will get you the other ones. You got to get them the God one. Somebody's got to have one of our bracelets right here is one of my favorites. It says God saw that. Awesome. Thank you. What's that? For who? Okay. Yeah, but okay. I'll do that. Thank you. And they're making donations. Make sure you take some poker chips. Here's one of my thank you cards too. If you want to follow along on our Facebook page or anything else, if you look up Mile Monsters Inc. anything, you'll find this, and there's a whole other group of people coming by your house. So this one group is passed. That was group 1, and now group 2 is on their way. So, but when you get home, you might run into another group, and you'll be like, dang. So that's kind of fun. Really, really fun. So thank you for stopping by, and we appreciate you guys. I love your insight. Thank you, sir. Nice to meet you. Yeah, that was awesome. I like having people stop by and give us a little. This is what it's like where they're at, and it's really fun.
1253.
Yeah, that's Hawk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's for her.
Yeah, people are donating to Hawk's cause. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Even if you didn't buy your wife my bike, I still love you guys. That's awesome. You guys have fun. What's that? Hey, there's a poker chip up there somewhere. Is there one there for you? All right. Perfect. Yeah, that was fun. I like seeing people. It's really good. All right, we'll cruise back. And, you know, they got a lot more coming by them.
Here's
So-
one of ours.
Oh, thank you.
That's our home chapter.
Awesome. Got some poker chips, souvenirs. That was nice. Good times. I'm really glad I wasn't hassling them. Some people go by and I give them a hard time, you know, but not everybody. Look at that glitter. You're not losing your purse. Is that so your husband doesn't lose you? You got a sparkling shine? It looks good. She's got a little sparkly purse. I don't know if you can see that on the screen or not, but she was going good. Got people walking out when, you know, heading out of the rally. It's kind of winding down. It's been a long, hot day. The parking lot still has a lot of damn bikes in it, so there's a lot of people there. So, anyhow, I think anybody else? Oh, there's a couple more riders I want to check on. 1273 was one of the riders that I wanted to see. 1273. There you go. Where's Combs at? Oh, with Siggy. That's pretty awesome. There's one of our monster riders, 1273. Heading, where's that? Arkansas. Heading south. Let's see, we got one more here. Where is... Oh, that's somebody that's checked out. That's kind of fun because I was a little behind, so I wanted to see where some of these were, if they're still there. There's a lot of people that are out, you know, and a lot of everything going on. Here's another Hoka Hay rider right here, Stacks, pulling out of the, what is that, a mini mart? So they're getting gas. There's a little gas station, and off they go. And you can see these riders are not wasting any time. They're pulling in, they're getting gas, and they're gone. Amy says hi, Hydro. And they're off and running. So they're banging in. Sometimes when you come through a town like this, it's kind of nice to see things. Oh, I get the screen up. Good call. Thank you. My bad. There they are right there, getting gas. Glad I noticed that. Sometimes I can't see the screen so good, so... or the comments so good, so they're ripping through a town. Sometimes it's nice to see the town like that. What's that? Yeah, I swapped it though. Here's the behind. We're a little delayed. We're making sure it works. But I got a couple videos from Snapshot that I got to share too, and this is really funny too, because Snapshot just cracks me up. So he's got some funny things happening to him all the time, and this is one of them right here. You know, you got to remember now that he's just a typical guy. So here's his, you know, $3,200 camera lens for taking pictures on the move. And let me rewind that so you make sure to see the very beginning. Here, play that again. Now you see it's broken, but look at how lucky he got. He broke the filter on the lens, but the lens stayed intact. So he was pretty happy about that. If you're gonna lose something, you'll take the filter. So we lucked out there. And here's a couple of videos they got of riders riding along. A couple monsters there. And you can see the roads. I mean, how, you know, crazy they are. Now they just hit a little bit of a straightaway, and that was about it. Here's some other monsters we met at a stop sign. Caught up to him, and then if you notice, his bike is in the middle, so he just ran in front of him to get a picture. That was kind of fun. Here's a question. I'm going to get that off the screen first. We're going to get a picture up there instead. If there's a road closed on the route, do they just take the posted detour? Yes, Amy, they do. If there is a detour, they follow the detour. What happens though is a lot of these don't have detours. Something could happen to the road. You know, there was a tree that fell. One of our riders, Len, was cutting trees out of the way. I don't even know how that came about. I can't wait to hear about it. But you find your way around. And if you can't find your way around, if there's not a detour, then you just make your own way. And you have to just use that, you know, whatever you got to do to get through it. So, you know, that's the best you can do. And Buffy, hello. I like your video where you caught Triple Eights, I believe. No, you got somebody. I just watched it. My brain is a little fried. But you got a video of somebody, because I was just looking at trying to think how I get it. Here's Hyde. I stole that picture from Hyde, but I like that because, you know, he's got modern things, but he's still Hyde. There's nothing that modern about that bike. There's his directions. He's sitting on a board, and he's trying to figure out which way to go, and he's having a good time doing it. I didn't even talk about this picture. Forgot about that. This is at the checkpoint, and Sierra, better known as Bandit, you know, put together a little spot for Mile Monsters, a safe place. I thought that was pretty funny. So they had some waters there for really anybody that wanted them, and you know, you grab things if you wanted. If you need a place to lay down, they had a tarp laying there on the ground, and you know, you could chill out. And that was pretty good. So, see what other pictures that I get sent to me. There's Hondo and Selena. I don't know where that was. That was yesterday, but I finally got it, you know, to where I can share it. This is one of them, the struggle bus north earlier. Here's the view of us where we're at right now again. Oops, wrong one. All right, and Brandy, that's awesome. You got a couple people came and they were following you from your Steel Cowgirls, and they made a donation in your honor. So that was pretty cool. All right, let's get back to the tracker, see where people are at. Nope. This is the last one. Let's see if we check somebody else. I want to see where Walter is. 1373, riding a Pan America, not an old Pan. Teamed up with 1356, it looks like. And he is headed north. So he is on it. They're doing their thing. They're trying to get there. This is no easy task. I mean, it is hot coming here. I mean, this whole area in the south is hot, humid. There are going to be riders that just can't take that kind of heat, sustained heat. And you really got to make sure that they feed the body the right stuff. I mean, you've got to have, you know, hydration. Now, a lot of people don't realize what poor choices you're going to make when you're super thirsty. So you get dehydrated, you're going to get tired, dragged down. You got to drink twice the water you think you need. You know, you should be taking a leak every now and then. If you're not, you are not drinking enough water. So make sure, if you got somebody out there, make sure they're getting water they need. This is far from over. Got a long way to go. So Nancy is right here, coming to the border. She's doing great. Dirty Dan and Ren are right behind her. Brian up here is right behind them. And here comes Roadrunner again. He got rested, which I was glad to see. You know, you have to make good choices. I was questioning some choices of people. I'm like, well, they got to do their ride. But if you don't sleep, you're going to pay. Everybody has to sleep. No matter what, everybody's got to sleep. And this, like Billy said, no, I gotta go back here ways, so I gotta see it, but we're gonna put it up. I'll say this again. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So you can blast ahead, you can do crazy stuff, but if you're not in it for the long haul, you know, you're gonna be in trouble. So that's about it. We got people, you know, settling down here. It was hot today, like I said, so this place is winding down. It's, you know, getting to a trickle. The parking lot's getting empty as we go, so we're going to be gone. Tomorrow we're going to try to do a live show at noon from the road. We're trying to get the kinks out of the system. I think we got it. Today was pretty good. If you go back and watch the noon show, we talked a little bit about Jim Red Cloud and how, you know, he inspired so much. So if you get a chance to watch the noon show, it wasn't too long, maybe half hour, 40 minutes, something like that. But we covered a lot of stuff, and we did it live from the National Cemetery. So it was really, really cool. I don't know if I got any other comments here that I missed. We're kind of rolling through some things kind of fast. So let's see. All right. Yeah, I got the screen. People had to correct me. That was good. So that was awesome. So Billy, thanks for tuning in. Nicole is Turbo's mom. She's got hardly anything going on in life. She's got a lot of downtime. Right now she's like staring at the TV or at the screen going, downtime? What the hell is that? She's got her hands full. She is busy with something all the time. She's going 100 miles an hour in every direction. Having a couple kids keeps everybody busy. And when you have a son with DMD, you're really cranking up and, you really got to stay on your toes. So, a lot of the moms of our boys, they're too busy to come on here all the time. So, they got a lot going on. Today's a Saturday and it's really, really cool that you come on, say hi, tell our boy Turbo we said hi, and all these riders riding for the Monsters are riding for our boys like Turbo, like Jackson, LT, Jack, Drew, of course Gavin down in Texas, and Brody in Kansas. Brody, I was hoping I was going to go by his place, but he lives, let's see, he lives over here outside of Hayes. Where's Victoria? I don't know, it's right near somewhere. Wherever Victoria is, it's by Hayes. So it's right here somewhere, and I was hoping it was going to go by there. Without seeing it, I was like, man, hopefully go by Brody's house, see if we get a kick out of that. He was out there today with some of our, I want to say riders, but they're running 7 miles a day to help him raise some money. So that's pretty awesome. Cover that later. That's about all we got time for. We're getting out of here. There's no more questions. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to do a live show at noon from the Faces, Mount Rushmore. So we're going to get up there and do that the best we can and see you again. Yeah, here's Turtle saying hi because I just saw her about 2 hours ago. She's working in Sturgis. And I thought maybe she'd be here by now. I'm like, I looked over just to make sure she wasn't here. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. They closed a little earlier there. She might be here right now. So that's awesome. I thank the Wild Ass crew next door for helping us out when we're not here and take care of things. We love those guys. They're the hardest working group in the rally. There's a bunch of fat guys over there working some booths, and they don't have a chance. They got a bunch of skinny people at Wild Ass because they're running around like crazy. I think Wild Ass Craig has got a pretty good whip on them because they got it going on. Because I'm looking across here, and evidently whoever installs lights on motorcycles, they don't have a weight limit there. Tiny little Callie noticed that one, but yeah, they feed them well, so that part's fun. But I'm only kidding, guys. I'm going to be over there to get some highway pegs here, some highway pegs shortly, so I got to be careful. So tomorrow I have a black guy. It's because I hassled the raw guy, so that's all good. But I was really hoping that girl we saw downtown was going to show up here today. There's a couple very entertaining outfits at the rally, and maybe during a live show we'll catch a couple of those, and you'll be like, damn, I can't believe people could have that made where they found it, whatever. But people dress pretty entertaining at a motorcycle rally, so we're gonna go look for Misty and Dylan and see where they're at, and see if Misty's flu that she had went away. So we're gonna see that. But other than that, we are out of here. So I hope everybody had a great Saturday. This is day 7. Keep an eye on the tracker and know that anybody that has a pretty legit shot of coming in by the party, they need to get here by the end of today, maybe noon tomorrow. I can see they might have a shot. So all these people right here, I think they're really going to be good. So I think it's going to be fun to watch. People are worried about not enough people being at the party. There'll be more than enough people at the party, and this is what makes riders great. It's going to help them change the way they look at life, the way they look at how they wanted to finish. And I guarantee you, when you ask them at the end what they thought about finishing and what place they came in, they're not going to care about what place they came in. They're going to be happy as hell that they could do this damn route in a time frame like the party. That's going to be awesome. And I, for one, I love to see it. I love people seeing it, give it their all. I like it when it's harder, and honestly, the world stuff is challenged. I think a third of the people should make it. A third of the people maybe should make the party. A third should maybe just come in as finishers. I like when you get back to the basics, where finishing is enough. if you finish, you consider that epic, and I think that's pretty awesome. So we're out of here. I'm gonna follow those two dudes. They're out of here. They're done shopping. Peace out. So I don't talk to strangers. Come on, you're not 7. You can say hi. No, still doesn't talk to strangers. His parents thought him a little too well, I think. They had to hear me. So we'll see if there's anybody left to hassle before we go. So other than that, we're going to be signing off. So I'll talk to everybody tomorrow. Have a good night. And I just have my wife left to talk to. And other than that, I'm going to bed as soon as we're out of here. So peace.